Hello and welcome to the Geek Den for issue 55 of our R2D2 build. So in it we have obviously the motor and stuff like that. There's a fair bit to do in this issue, so let's crack on and deal with the issue. Okay, so first things first, we obviously need the motor out. So let's how this bag comes in. There we go. Put it up. And there's our screws. So let's take the motor out. We have the screws there. These are going to be used a little bit later on. And then we need our leg. So now it goes up, I do believe, and sits just about here. It sits at some sort of angle, so it sits just like here. So let's open these. Remember to keep the spares, and it is now just a matter of lining up and getting it just right. Our first screw, next one, we should have one spare screw left over, which will go into our box. So let's try and spin this around so you can see. There we go. Also remember that there is no don't try and force this wheel round like I'm trying to do here. You could damage it. I know I've just done that. Right, okay, next bit is now we need some wires now, if we're going to start wiring the leg up. So what we need is these two wires here. Remember, when you store your wires, make sure that you just keep them like I just have until it's ready, until you are ready. So let's pull this all the way through. So and this just in here. That's it. There we go. Like so. Then we grab this as well. So remember, when you do this, that it's the smaller end. So we have, you can see if I can make it out. So we have a big end and a small end. The small end is what we need down here. So just feed the big end up here, like so. Best thing to try and do is try and put it through here, so they're all through nicely. So just give it a bit of a tug. Okay. So let's have a look, see what we've got to do next. We should know what to do next because we've done this before. Okay, so this one needs to I don't know if you can see this, hang on a sec. There we go. So this wire needs to be about that long. And now what we need are our cable ties. So just pull that and get them out. Now, if you watched my last video, you should know that if you haven't, and you're just picking it up now, when you do the cable ties, make sure you leave them a little bit loose. Otherwise, when it comes to fitting stuff on this, and you're moving wires down, you won't be able to move them. There'll be no movement. All you want to do is try gathering them up really, and not having too much there. So this goes in through here, pulls round, through the back. So as you can see, it's going to gather them together slightly. Just always make sure you've got enough here. Okay, so I don't know if you can make that out, but as you can see, there's still enough slack. It's keeping them together, but there's still enough slack. So now we need to just follow this up now. Doing the same sort of thing, just a little bit of slack, so you can, so it keeps them together, but you can move the wires like so. And our last one. Make sure you can just pull them like so. Through like so. Okay, so we are left with like that, and as you can see, I'm just going to pull this, and as you can see, that can be pulled. So basically, when this end's connected, I'll be able to pull it a little bit more tighter, and that goes for the rest of these ones as well. Okay, so now we just need to cut these wires here. Let's turn this round. Like so. Okay, so that bit is done. So now what we need to do is we need this bit, so this bit over here, like so. That. Need our back section, which we now need to poke the wires through. So one through there, and one through there, and I basically just need to pull them through, and all this connects together, hopefully. And we just need to sandwich basically these two together. I'm just going to pull these wires out of the way, pull this down. And make sure they are all present and correct. Okay, so now what we need to do is to basically put this over, and with our black screws start sticking it together. So we're going to actually start up here. That's one in the wrong way. That's a good start. What has happened there? Okay. Okay. If we just drop these screws down into the holes, like so, and then just go around screwing them. Oh, for God's sake. Okay. So, there's a lot to do on this week, so there shouldn't be a lot of. We've had a few weeks of not doing very much, and now we've got to there we go for that one. Okay, the last four to go in on this little bit. Last two. One. One. And in there. Oh, right. So our next bit is this. Now these are easy to go on, and I've done it already. So this bit goes on just here. Now we have to be a bit more, a little bit more trickier. Oh, sorry, not with this bit. With this bit, have to be a lot more trickier now with this section. So if I just scoot them up there a sec. Now I want to just pull these wires just a tiny bit, because they have to go through this gap here, as we already know. So I want to try to get them in that general area. We just have to hope, as you can see, that we can. Now we just pull this slightly. That's it. So we've now got a little bit of slack on there now. So this is always good to get down, but it all comes together in the end. But it's just very fiddly, because they've all got to come through that little gap. Right, so have them at the little gap here. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, in like so. So it's a moment of truth. Always do alternate corners. It ensures a tight fit, like so. I've just noticed this actually slightly bending, so I'm just going to have a little bit of a fiddle around and see if I can loosen it a little bit more. Okay, as you can see, I've pulled it up a little bit, so there's a lot more wire. My suggestion would be to make sure there is quite a bit of wire, a thumb's width like this on this bit, so you've got enough coming through. We've got this one. Now that is it for this issue, but there is one thing that it doesn't tell you to do that we know we can do, and that is just to pull this out like so. Bring in our tester cable and tester box, and we can test our motor. So let's click that in, turn that on, and it does exactly the same thing as the other motor does with its whine. I don't know whether it's just to do with the power going through it's not enough, whether the batteries are going, I'm not too sure, but it works, and it really does go. Okay, so we know that that works. And put that away. And that is it for this issue. So at the end of this issue, this is what our leg should look like. There was one noticeable thing from this leg at this stage that we had on the other leg, and that was this section just here. And if we have a look at our other leg, you can see exactly what I mean. That came very early on, but they haven't supplied it with this one, but it does just fit in and sort of just sort of turns in, but we haven't got it for some bizarre reason. But that is it for this issue. Let's have a quick look at issue 56. So in issue 56 we will be getting the foot parts, dome panels and the rubbish fixing tape, which I don't like. But obviously we will bring it here at the Geek Den, so make sure you click to subscribe, and we'll hopefully see you at the next video.